Shoot, okay.
So what's important is
what am I trying to say?
Energy.
What am I trying to say?
We did it.
Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see by the title, in today's video, I'm saying today like we didn't make all these videos. In this video, we will be talking about our experience being in the military as Black women. As you can see to the right of me, I have Ocean.
Yes, Ocean like the water.
And I'm Asia like the continent, period. So before we even start this video, make sure you all subscribe to both of our channels. I will leave her channel will be linked down below. Yep. And you already know my channel, subscribe. Make sure you go back and watch the other videos before coming to this one. We have a part 1 and 2 of getting out the military, and then we have another video
about the myths about basic training, period.
So make sure y'all go watch those videos and then watch this video last. So the first topic that we are going to discuss is about hair.
Of course, you know we had to.
So yes. Being a Black woman in the military, hair I feel like has always been the top of the list.
As a Black woman, you know that hair has been a part of our lives since we were little. We were conditioned to believe that when our hair is good, we feel good. And so I take that personally, that when my hair is in whatever style or protective style that I have, I feel like I can do anything and I feel beautiful, right? Well, in the military, prior to the changes that were made over the last year or so, we were in when we didn't have much options.
Now the regulation is kind of trying to, you know, be in favor more for Black women.
And I love it. I love it.
Yes, I love that. But I mean, we out now, so. But for the people that are still in, they're trying to, you know, be more diverse when it comes to different hairstyles. But when I was in, there was just a lot of things that we couldn't do. I'm gonna give you guys an example. So I remember one time when I was back at Fort Riley, and I always had like this sleek ponytail, like a sleek bun. Yes, baby hair always. She can, you know, baby hair used to always be on fleek. So one day, I feel like I'm screaming, my bad.
No, don't laugh.
One day I had like, I used to put my little sideburns down. So one day I got some gel and I like twisted it just a little bit. It wasn't like crazy. I still had a sleek bun, but like my sideburns were like, you know, kind of a little swooped. Yeah, swooped, and it was like a little curly. But curly is my natural hair texture. Like my hair is naturally curly. So I went to work one day, sleek ponytail with a little sideburn or whatever, and my leadership had an issue with my hair, and I'm just like, what's
with a sideburn?
What's wrong with it? I can't help it. Like I got look, I got sideburns. I can't help it. So that was just an example like of something that I had to go through constantly.
It may come out of your ponytail a little bit easier and do the same things that we're trying to achieve. But we're just doing it with gel and a natural hair pattern.
Yeah.
I personally have myself seen on multiple occasions where I have been addressed, or like other soldiers that look like me have been addressed. And I've also seen where soldiers that don't look like me will have things like bright highlights in their hair, and because they are who they are, nobody says anything. You know, I've had to stand at attention in front of my sergeant major and like advocate for the fact that my bob was not touching my collar, did not surpass my collar. And because I was sitting down, like my hair went past my collar. So, you know, for anybody any Black woman who's in the military, I highly advise to get you a printout of 670-1. Fold that thing up and put it in that pocket.
Yep. And to touch on that too, like, I'm glad that the regulation is changing a little bit more now, but even with the regulation that they have now, like, you can, just because it says something in the regulation, everybody can interpret it differently.
Yes.
So, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of have to be aware of that too. Like your leadership might be like, oh, well, that's not what it says.
that's not what it means.
Yeah, or that's not what it means.
And that's where the gray areas come in with black hair, is that it's open to interpretation of what you feel like is professionalism, and what that leadership feels like is upkeep, because you know, they may feel like locks that naturally, or free form locks that have to form with the hair naturally, is unkept because it's not in the standard of what they believe locks are. So like I said, I would refer to 670-1, and if anything comes up from that point on, like, I would talk to leadership and just continue to go up your chain of command, because this is it just makes me so
it makes me angry too, like now looking back at it, because like this is stuff that we as black women had to deal with constantly.
Or like her braids, like her braids right now. Like for instance, our bun couldn't be over a certain amount of distance, but you know that with having braids, when you put them in a bun in the back, it's oftentimes bigger because of the weave. And it's not like you're negating the regulation. It's just that in order to maintain my hair and stop pulling it into these ponytails, I saw so many girls losing their hair, and it wasn't. It's not even trying to be funny. It's just seriously like the ponytails every single day, the gel every single day. It pulls. So by the end of it, you're like, dang, I can either not have hair or be out of regulation with these braids.
Girl, and it's crazy because I actually went through a period where, you know, my edges started thinning out, and I look back at it and I'm like, well damn, that's because I was wearing ponytails every day, trying to, you know, stick to the regulation and trying to be squared away all the time. And over time, that's what will happen. Like your edges will rip out, your hair will rip out because of all that tension.
Yep, I had a drill sergeant who didn't have hair back here.
In the back, yep, I see it all the time.
Yes, and on top of that, when it comes to like natural poofs, like your natural poofs, like I would have.
Ooh, I got a story time. I don't want to make it video too long.
I'm telling you though, we have so many stories about this. So let us know if you want us to do just a video about hair in the military and how we've had to deal with our struggles as far as the military. We can give you story times, everything.
Oh my gosh.
The point is that this is one of the biggest struggles that we had.
Yes.
And to make sure that above all, keep your hair healthy. And I ended up having to cut all my hair off. And if you haven't seen that video, that's all the way in the back. I cut it off on YouTube. So number 2, we talk about field issues. With like going to the field, being out downrange or wherever you may be, and dealing with like feminine hygiene and things like that. Oftentimes, typically as black women, we stay within the realm of each other, like knowing like like we use rags to wash up, you know, like those unspoken things. But those were really hard to do in the field. And no one ever gave us the tips and tricks for that. They just like, oh, well, bring pads or baby wipes or baby powder, you know. It really gets nitty gritty.
This is for all women, because of course all women, you know, go through this as far as, you know, having periods and stuff. So that's for all women. As far as like just being in the field and, you know, having periods and having to deal with like cramps and stuff, I'm gonna let you know now, they are not as lenient as you may think they are.
No, they don't care.
If you have a female hygiene situation and you bring it up, like,
they don't care.
The field came first.
One thing that happened to me is like we went to the range, and if you've been on the range, you know you there all day, and that's, you know, you practicing with your weapon, right? I'm sitting out there and I'm on my period and I'm bleeding, okay? I'm stressed, so you know stress has something to stress always alters your period or whatever, right? So I'm sitting there bleeding, and I am bleeding not only through my pants, the shorts that I put on underneath, but I'm also bleeding through my OCPs, my uniform. And I'm talking about like I had blood all through my pants. By the time I was able to like, I had been stuffing tissue. I had been like trying my best because I brought, you know, my stuff, but it was still a difficult like moment because there is no bathrooms. There's nowhere for you to go. You're in a porta potty. So you do the best you can. I go to the drill sergeant, and mind you, the drill sergeant doesn't look like me. She's a female, but she doesn't look like me. And she says, "Oh, you're all right." And I'm drenched in blood, almost down to my knees.
I can't believe that.
She made me walk back in blood. And it wasn't even the fact that it was hard, it was the fact that it was disgusting, and I wanted to...
and embarrassing.
And embarrassing.
That's embarrassing.
Right.
A lot of women that are still in or that have recently got out, they definitely can, they probably, almost all of them probably have a story about some type of female hygiene situation that they had to go through, because it's real. And a lot of, especially when you're on a base that's like the majority are men, they don't understand, you know, they don't understand the issues that women have to go through when it comes to hygiene and stuff. Real.
Number 3 is medical issues. Like most black women in America, and who often have medical issues that they struggle with, that doesn't change in the military. If anything, it might get a little bit worse. You have to severely advocate for yourself. And 9 times out of 10, just being a private in general, the assumption or the stereotype is that like privates, you know, like make up these things about medical injuries and things just so they can get out of training or can get out of different things, or exercise, PT. But as a black woman, it's almost double down. I can only speak from my experience with my service-connected injury with tearing my hip. I remember popping my hip in Fort Riley and my sergeant looking at me and say, "Well, we're waiting on you." And I'm literally, my hip is popped and I can't walk. And I'm like trying to get in my car after PT, and then it's just nothing, you know. It's just like, oh, she's just trying to get a profile or medical exemption from running or something like that. And then I ended up having to have surgery at 28. That
just goes to show, like, a lot of times they don't take your injuries and stuff serious until it's too late. And that's kind of like what happened to me with like my whole neck situation. I got a whole nother video on that, y'all already know. They thought, oh, because she's a young female, she wouldn't possibly have an injury like that. But come to find out, I did have an injury like that, and that was a reason for getting medically discharged out of the military. So something that might seem small to them could really be like a big issue.
But it's no different than any other civilian black woman who goes to the hospital with an issue, with heart problems, giving, you know, having childbirth. All these different things creates the same narrative that we die at a significantly higher rate. We die, our statistics are astronomical when it comes to the care of black women. So that's why it's always important that you stay 2 steps ahead with policies, 2 steps ahead with your medical records, and always advocate for yourself. If you don't know the answer, find another black woman in that same arena that may be able to assist you. And I'm not saying that all black women will, I'm just saying that the chances that another black woman will not help you is very low. Especially if you come correct and say like, hey, I need help. I don't know what to do. I'm a private, or I'm a, you know, enlisted or whatever, you know. The next thing is...
Wait, technically 4 videos in, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna have some great content.
Yeah, we are.
Let's keep it up, let's keep it up. Number 4 is sexual harassment. I don't care if you are black, white, Puerto Rican, the Haitian. What movie is that from? Cheetah Girls?
I don't know.
It doesn't really matter what kind of woman what your nationality, your race is. Sexual harassment is a real thing in the military. If we know anything, over this past couple years is when things started to come out more in the light, because the military is its own organization, it's its own city, and a lot of times it can feel secluded. But it happens. Luckily, the both of us haven't had to experience any kind of sexual harassment to any large degree, but that's not to say that just as a black woman, if you are experiencing something like sexual harassment in the military, just in general, make sure you report it. And if they don't do what you need them to do, especially being us, if they don't do it, you have the ability to go to the police. You have the ability to hire a lawyer and go outside of the organization. Just because you sign you know, that dotted line doesn't mean that takes away who you are as a person. You have value, and report it. Report it. No rank. No rank. I don't care all the way up.
To touch on what she's saying, like if you feel like, you know, you've been sexually assaulted or anything like that, never let your leadership, I don't care who it is, your NCO, never let anybody belittle the situation or try to downgrade the situation. If you feel some type of way about something that happened to you, don't let nobody else say, oh, it's not that serious, or just get over it, or whatever the case may be. No, stand on how you feel, stand your ground, speak up, and so that it can get taken care of.
We had Instagram, but it wasn't as candid as TikTok is. It wasn't as open. And these are the reasons why we find out about people like Vanessa in Fort Hood or other soldiers who have been through the same things. And it literally breaks my heart. And I don't want to start crying on here now. It literally breaks my heart to see stuff like that, because it's crazy to think that someone like Asia, who went straight out of high school, who's in the middle of nowhere by themselves, is struggling with things like that, and then they get left to, you know, it's just a lot. And I really I can't. So speak up. If you need resources, if you need help, reach out. You know, I don't know everything.
Yeah, me either.
I don't know everything, but I'm a damn good fighter. Yeah, I think we both are damn good fighters. So number 5 is, especially as a Black woman, we often get times put into our stereotypical, she's a bitch.
I feel like it has a lot to do with your personality too. Me, I'm a very vocal person, so if something's bothering me, I will let you know. I don't care who you are, I will let you know. Of course, I do it, what's the word, tactfully? I do it tactfully and respectfully, but I still get my point across. But a lot of times as Black females, we do that and people automatically look at us like, oh, she just got an attitude, or, you know, she's just being bitchy or whatever the case may be. But sometimes it's deeper than that. Like sometimes you really have an issue that you're just trying to address.
I think they push the narrative that Black women are always going to have an attitude, or that we can't represent ourselves well. We either got to be lackluster, or we're like too much, and there's no in between. We're not just people just being who we are. And so being a female who especially is in the military, you have to be able to stand your ground. And you should never feel sorry for that. No rank in this world is more important than you losing yourself. And that's
your livelihood.
Your livelihood, your mental is not important. And in situations that I hear about, like females who are facing harassment, or like sexual harassment or physical harassment, or being threatened with counselors and things like that, I would rather catch you on the flip side. And then lastly, we're gonna go over taping. Taping in the military is something that we all have to go through every now and again, which basically make sure you're within the physical aspects of what the military says is fit.
Their standard. But me personally, I don't feel like it's fair. I'm not gonna get too much into detail, but I just don't feel like it's fair. Like, for example, a guy, I remember a dude, he was very muscular. Like, he had like strong muscles. Like, you could tell he was in shape, but he always had to get taped. And I just feel like, you know, like just because his body is built different, he had to get taped versus somebody whose body isn't like his and they didn't have to get taped. So, yeah.
A lot of those standards that the military has for like taping and weight requirements and things like that was built on the structure of people who don't look like us. What's important is to make sure that, you know, they've made a lot of changes with the regulation now, but as Black women, we have hips, we have thighs, we have booties, we have, you know, broader shoulders. You know, we got more weight to us because that's genetically how we are built, like gods. No, I'm just kidding. No, but true though.
My battery is about to die, but pretty much this, ooh, I just spit. Pretty much this concludes the end of this video. Thanks thank you all so much for watching this video. Do not forget to subscribe to Ocean's channel. It will be in the link.
Ocean Therapy.
Ocean Therapy. It will be in the link down below. And also do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for watching this military. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and
watch all the videos.
Watch all the videos. Don't forget to watch part 1, part 2, and the video before this video. My camera about to die. But yeah, that's it, y'all.
What's tea, sis?
Bye.